business going on, I think.
Yeah, I have a service where normally I would bring in the beehive and everything and set it up for you from scratch. You don't have to do anything.
Okay.
Now, in this case, since you already have one, we can work it a couple different ways. With my service, I set it all up in the spring. It works like a pool service with a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Basically, you open a pool.
It's getting
we
expensive.
bring the beehive.
Okay.
Then every couple of weeks through the summer, I will stop in and check on the bees and make sure they're coming along the way we want to see them coming along.
Okay.
Then around August 1, we'll harvest any extra honey that's there. Then we get the bees ready for the winter. Around the 1st of November, going towards Thanksgiving, those 3 weeks in there, we go around and pick all the beehives up and move them back to one central location for the winter.
Oh, really? Keep it.
It's much easier for me, even though it's a lot of work to move them. It's easier for me to care for them in the winter at one place versus trying to drive around.
And are they willing to? The bees are willing to do this?
The bees will move along just fine because by that point in time, there's no flowers left in the environment for them to feed on.
Okay.
So what they're going to do is they will have stored up enough honey to carry them through the winter.
Wow.
So it doesn't matter if I've got 30 of these lined up right next to each other, because they are just going to be eating the honey to stay warm. And on a warm afternoon in January, I can blow down a line of 30 of them when they're all right next to each other. But if it was a warm afternoon and I had to drive from your house 10 miles,
I got you.
I wouldn't get anything done already.
Yeah, the beekeeper. How many bees? How many boxes are you dealing with? What do you call them? Hives.
These are beehives,
Yeah.
and we refer to the family of bees inside as a colony.
Colony.
I vary between 150 and 200 of these.
Oh, good.
beehives.
So you're serious? Serious business.
You're getting there.
You're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. And how many died last winter?
I had about 30% loss.
So it's part of the game. It's part of the game.
It's part of the game. And let me tell you, a bigger part of what I'm doing then is we raise queen bees.
Oh, I've read that, and
So
Jim
part
was
of
telling
our
us that.
strategy is that by having bees all over the area, it allows me to get a really good sample, to find the really top quality bees. And we're using those queens to raise the mother queens, the daughter queens for this year's new crop of queens.
Wow.
If I come to a colony and it's just not performing very well, or it's not making honey, or it's mean, or any of a number of things that we don't like about it, we're gonna drop a new queen and replace that queen.
And the bees don't mind. They're not aware of personalities. I mean, they don't assign themselves to one queen.
Well, they do,
But
once I axe the one that's in here,
they search around and find her.
12 hours, they're craving a new one. So by then I give them a new one, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll take her.
What does she do for them?
Well, the queen is really the matriarch of the whole operation. In the summer, the worker bees only live for 6 weeks, beginning to end. They're born on May 1. By June 15th, those bees are starting to expire already.
Okay, maybe that's what I had.
So one of the big things that a beekeeper has to really do is keep on top of that pipeline of bees that's coming down the pipe, to make sure you always have those replacement bees for the ones that are going to be dying off.
Where do you get them?
Well, she raises them.
Oh.
But you have to watch and monitor and make sure. And if she's not raising them, then you've got to make corrective actions to keep that flowing in your advantage.
Cool. Okay.
That's a big part of what beekeeping is
Do they
about.
recognize you?
As a person, no. I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, they recognize the fact that you care.
Well, that I think they probably recognize. Yeah.
Because it's your heart,
Yes.
That's your look of your.
Yes, and as you work with bees, you certainly develop a bit of a zen.
That's
just
it.
in the way you handle them.
Yeah.
That's a skill I try to train my students that I teach, definitely, to have that awareness. It's a very much a sense
So
of
let's
skill.
go into the teaching routine. What's your teaching routine?
Well, I run a school.
Do you?
So the way our school works is it's an all summer long program. It's 16 different units that we cover. We start in April, we go all the way to October. Every 2 weeks, I give my students an assignment for something new that they have to
So
learn.
we have grown-ups and young kids. So you have the whole gamut.
Yeah, well,
Because
it's
beekeepers
16 and older. If somebody's going to come under 16, they have to come with a parent. So it's not really
He's not
oriented
16.
towards kids. I mean, a high schooler, he's
Yeah.
fine, but it's oriented towards training adults. And so on Wednesday night of that 2-week period, I give a Zoom presentation about the topic for that 2-week section. That's the theory. Then, and I take 30 students every summer. I have 10 students go to 3 different apiaries then to get the hands-on experience. This is the difference between my school and most others, because I actually make you go and practice with the real live bees.
Good.
So on Friday night, we take 10 of our students to Yorktown Heights, to Hilltop Hanover in Yorktown. On Sunday morning, tomorrow morning, 10 of them will go to the Greenwich Audubon over in Greenwich.
Very cool.
We have an apiary set up there with beehives for them
Good
to
people.
practice with.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Tuesday evenings, we take 10 of them to Stone Barn Center down in Pocantico Hills, the Rockefeller Center over by Terrytown.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No.
And I'd only want to work with 10 or so at one time. I can't take big groups.
that's-
10 is a lot to keep track of. But the idea is that I'm teaching them to go through 1 year of beekeeping and to help them develop. It's all about developing certain skills.
How many? You're handling 150. How many independent beekeepers like Jim Lawrence is that? Is he one of your 150 or is he?
Yes.
So the guys that are out there that are independent, do they survive?
Does a hobby beekeeper who just has a couple hives in his backyard, do they survive?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. Especially if they took my class and they learned what they were supposed to do. Who doesn't survive is the person who just goes out and get a box and gets some bees and put it in and they don't know what they don't know. They're going to get in trouble because they don't know all of the things that can go wrong.
That's me.
So that's what I'm trying to help my students avoid is like those mistakes. And the reason I did it is because when I first started, my first tries, I crashed and burned every year for 5 years in a row. I killed my bees by just stupid mistakes.
Murder.
And it was just because I didn't know
Yeah.
better. This was in 1995, James. So you have to realize there was no internet then. There was no YouTube video or
1995,
anything
no.
else. Like I was at the library trying to read the book on how to
They
do
were
it.
trying to set up some computers.
Nonetheless,
Good. Well,
but
this
I'm
is
very
good.
proud of our school, and the students really love
What do you call it?
A Bedford Bee Honeybee Service is the name of my company. I just call it Bee School 2023. Each year we update that to 20.
And while I'm here, I think I have your website, but would you just say it?
My website is www.bedfordbee.com. So it's
Cool.
Bedford BEDFORD.com.
Got it.
And the information on the service and the school, and we do a lot of other things as well. I remove bees from buildings.
Oh,
So like swarms will go into buildings and sometimes they have to be removed.
how
we
much?
catch wild swarms when people call us about swarms from, that's how colonies reproduce themselves.
Are there many of them?
I've got 20 of them already this year, and it's only May 15th.
And are we talking about which part of the? I mean, like something like this. Does this look like a place that?
Well, what will
a swarm
happen
could
is
happen?
if this colony had survived the winter, and if this was flourishing and doing well, and there were tons of bees in here, the natural process is that they would want to create a new family of bees somewhere.
I see.
So the mother queen who was in this box would have laid some eggs in some special cells, and the bees would have raised those into new baby queens. Right before those new baby queens emerge, the original mother queen will fly away, and she takes half the bees with her. It's a tornado of bees for 20 minutes when this is all pouring out and they're all flying away.
She's just a little bit bigger than them,
It's amazing. Just not, yeah.
and they're so influential.
And any of those worker
My,
bees,
my wife was a little shorter than me, quite a bit. We'd all do the same. We'd follow her anywhere.
anyway, they will go out and scout around and look for a hollow cavity. So see that tree has a hollow rotted space in there?
Yeah, I've got
They'll
them.
look for a hollow place inside of a tree.
Yeah.
But in suburban environments, lots of houses have hollow cavities in the walls and in
I
the
see.
roofs, and they
They get in.
don't know any different. They think it's just trees, so they move right in and start building their nest inside.
Make a noise.
But homeowners don't really like that, so I have to go cut them out and remove them and give them a new, nice, safe home.
So it's safe. Oh, give the bees a safe home. Excuse me. I thought you were talking about the client. Okay, who's the client? The bee or the person?
Well, the person is doing the paying, so
Paying.
I guess they would be the
Yes, the
client.
Yeah, but these guys are paying with their honey. So, okay. So let's see if we can't pick apart a program.